Barring any unforeseen circumstances popping up in the next few minutes, really, Donald Trump's criminal trial in New York is, of course, slated to begin today. And millions upon millions of Americans, Republicans, Democrats, and independents, are going to be hyper-focused on what happens for the next 4 to 6 weeks, which is how long the trial is estimated to take, because the results of this trial, according to a new poll from Reuters, could already determine the outcome of the 2024 election. This new poll from Reuters is one of the first ones that has focused specifically only on Donald Trump's legal problems and how those legal problems, including the hush money trial today, how those legal problems will affect their vote. And according to this poll, as other polls have shown previously, a conviction means Trump is done. But it's actually much worse than that, because as I mentioned, this poll goes a little bit deeper. Let me read you some of these results. Overall, 64% of registered voters in the poll describe the charges as at least somewhat serious. Only 34% of respondents said the charges aren't that serious. Any criminal conviction could take a heavy toll on Trump, who is locked in a tight race with Biden. 4 in 10 Republican respondents considered the hush money charges to be serious, as did 2/3 of independents. And I like that most of this was focused on Republicans and independents, right? We know where the Democrats stand. Like, we know it's serious and we're never going to vote for him anyway. So really our opinions on this do not matter. It's the independents who matter the most. And then of course the Republicans. And you got 40% of Republicans who say, oh, this is serious. You get 66% of independents who say this is serious. And it gets even worse for Donald Trump from there. Close to 1/3 of Republicans and close to 2/3 of independents in the poll said it was believable that Trump falsified business records and committed fraud. So almost a majority of Republicans and a big majority of independents say, yeah, it sounds like something he would do. They're not saying he definitely did it. They're just saying, yeah, that sounds like something he'd do. So they already have these preconceived notions that this guy's a fraudster. It gets worse. 74% of registered voters surveyed said the charges of election fraud were serious. So the other trials are even worse for him. So if we get those this year, yikes for Trump. It still gets worse. 60% of registered voters in the poll said they agreed with the statement that Trump's criminal trial should take place before the November 5th election, which means these voters want resolution to these cases because their votes will depend on the outcome. That's bad for Trump. 27% of registered voters said they agreed that Trump, with his argument that presidents should have immunity. So only 27% agree with his immunity claim. That's bad. About 1/4 of Republican respondents to the poll said they would not vote for Trump if he were convicted of a felony crime by a jury. And about 3/4 of registered voters said having a president in office with such heavy legal obligations would be, quote, risky. To put it in other words, a conviction kills his campaign. All of the swing state polls also show that if Trump gets a single conviction by a jury on a felony count, Biden wins all those swing states. So what happens today, or what happens whenever the trial ends up starting if it's not today, that could give us a clear picture of what is going to happen in November. Because even if a fraction of these people who say they'll never vote for him if he gets a conviction, if only a fraction of them stick to that, he still loses in November.